Welcome to CLEF Notes, brief answers to theological questions. Our question for this morning, what does it mean to covet? To covet. The 9th and 10th commandments cover this idea of coveting. The 9th has to do with coveting our neighbor's property, his house. The 10th, our neighbor's relationship, specifically his wife and his servants and his animals. And we say to ourselves, well, why do we even have this commandment? We have, you shall not steal. 7th commandment, you shall not commit adultery. Doesn't that cover it? Well, the thing about the 9th and 10th commandment is that it addresses our thoughts, our hearts. The 6th and 7th commandment, those are displayed in outward actions, but coveting really is the only prohibition in the commandments. It's only a matter of thought, isn't it? That we desire what our neighbor has. And God tells us that we're not even supposed to think these things. And you say to yourself, well, as long as I'm doing outwardly good things, isn't that enough? Well, the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew 5-7, Jesus really pokes a hole in that bubble and says, no, it's not a matter just of living an outwardly good life. We have to live an inwardly good life. That is, we need to have good thoughts and the right thoughts. So when we look at the 9th and 10th commandments, where God commands that we think the right way by looking at our neighbor and his spouse in the right way, that's what's being commanded. The downside of coveting, besides breaking the commandment, when we covet, when we want what our neighbor has, we feel miserable about the things that we have. As God has given us all these gifts and wonderful things, and then when we see what our neighbor has, we desire those things, and then we feel miserable about what God has given us. So by coveting what our neighbor has, we despise what God has given us. And that's horrible too, because then we think poorly about all the things we should be very thankful for. So much to think about when it comes to the 9th and the 10th commandments, to coveting. I hope this helps you, and I hope you can join me next time on CLEF Notes.